But
forget
nah,
to mention.
his apparently he didn't put hands on nobody. Did you
This my
see the
shit right here.
report?
Hey, bro, just know, John Quayle Jones is cooking in a 3-point contest right now. She got
Man, you don't even know who John Quill Jones is.
no. Listen,
I don't know who she is either.
she got 22 points and she didn't get to the last rack
No
yet, bro.
disrespect. What is that really good? Like, how does that? Like, I don't really know.
I just compare it to like the men's. Like when you be watching the men's 3-point contest, you know they be around like where they at. I know you played 2K. You be at 17 on like the second rack, making like
No,
25.
I do better than that. Yeah, I do better than that all the time, man. All the time. Mm-hmm.
Hey, they did 3-point contest mid scrimmage. I mean mid game.
Hey, Rod,
You
how
know
you?
you still blurry, dog.
He don't care.
That's because
He
he's sitting
hungry,
back right
bro.
now. That's
Yeah, he hungry, man. Damn, let
I'll
me
be
eat
right back. Hold on.
his chicken biscuit, bro. If I say, Rod, how you feeling after today's workout, bro?
Oh, honestly, I feel good. I mean, after these workouts, like I feel like
You
I
getting used to
recovered
this
like
shit, bro. You getting that cardio, that endurance, bro. Hell yeah.
I've been recovering dry fast. They said after I left today I was gonna be sore in the morning, so we'll see how I feel when I get up tomorrow.
That's a good, bruh. I'm not lying to you. Like when I said that shit in the gym, I was fucking. I'm still sore. I've been sore since I ran Lanham 7 Road. I have
You
not
took on the
recovered, bro.
5
Yes, bro. My fucking legs is
miles?
killing me. That shit burns, bro. That shit burns. I don't even know. Matter
We're
of
gonna see
oh
what tomorrow.
yeah. Hold on. Let me tell you. Let me tell you the schedule too for
Oh, the game. I need to know that.
yeah. 18th we play at 11 a.m. Yeah, 11
Yeah,
a.m.
games normally last what 2 hours.
Nah, it's an hour. Hour.
Uh,
Yeah, that joint is only an hour, man. It ain't that long. Uh-huh. All right.
Hey, Ryan, you feeling all right after the workout, young? I know
It's
Maul
the
just
fact.
asked you. I was just making sure. I know, no. I was gonna say I know he just asked you. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to hear your response. That's it.
nah, I feel good. I
You
don't
feel
feel
good?
nothing. Yeah, nah. I told you the other day I've been recovering type
You
fast
had
for
a
real.
cheat
So,
day
I
yet?
told you, bro. I told you.
what
Huh?
you say, Mom?
Have you had a cheat day yet?
Nah,
Let me tell you something. I be using my cheat day every day.
I ain't done it yet. I mean, I tried to incorporate a little something like Mom just made this chicken and pasta, and I was like, man, let me just get the chicken up out of there. I don't even want the pasta. So, I mean, I might grab some
Hey,
pasta.
Rick, this nigga life is changing in front of our eyes, bro. This nigga said
I
no
love
to
it,
the
bro.
noodles, but I
I
will take
know.
that chicken. I
Definitely
will
take the
take
chicken and
that
Hey,
pasta.
nah,
chicken,
hey,
bro.
bro. During that whole, that's the most important thing, bro. Like you stay locked in. When I tell you I was locked in, bro, I was locked in. You weren't throwing me off, bro, when it came to eating, bro. And if I was getting, if it was, it was happening on like Friday, like just Friday, like Friday. And Maul know, I'd be like, Maul be like, what you about to have? I said it's Friday, bro. You probably going to America's Best. And that was my day where I was just like, all right, I'm gonna kick ass in the gym all week, stay loyal to my eating, bro. And then on Fridays I eat what I want to eat. And it was just that evening, that evening meal. That was it. But yeah, soon, bro, you're gonna be like 220, 230, and then Nick gonna be the last one. You feel me? He gonna catch up to you, young. You know what I'm saying?
When you gonna pop out, Steve?
Hey,
You know
Nick,
what I'm saying?
Nick,
He gonna catch up to you, young.
Nick gonna like, hey, bro, it's gonna be too late for Nick. I'm sorry. Nick, Nick gonna look at everybody getting their shit together, and he's gonna be like, damn, bro, I gotta catch up to everybody.
I went to the gym today, bro.
What you do?
Bro, look at this
I mean,
nigga
I don't
chef.
mean to, I don't mean to clock you like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you everybody work out. You
Look
know
at
what I'm
Chef
saying?
geeking, bro.
Oh, you want that
Look at
muffin?
him geeking, bro.
Real.
Geeking, bro. Look at you, geeking. Go somewhere, bro.
That's my dog right there, Chef E.
Mm-hmm.
Geeking, young.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what you do at the gym today, bro?
I actually hooped today, and
You say you hooped it?
I hooped today,
Oh.
and I did legs.
When you go to LA Fitness?
Oh, you
Yeah.
know he going to LA Fitness.
Oh,
I
I
ain't
like
gonna
the
lie.
LA fitness up here though. It's not the same.
I miss LA
I'm
of
about to say, bro. I was
Towson.
just about to say. You remember OG used to work at LA Fitness? We used to
I
get in
was,
that
you know,
joint
you
all
know,
the
I, you
time.
know, I was working up there too, right?
Oh, I didn't know you was working
Towson,
up there too.
Towson John was
I
lit,
worked at
bro.
the
Did
pool.
y'all down here some shit, bro?
Well, hold on,
I
wait,
worked at
time out. What? I missed something. Where are you at, Nick? Which one did you go to?
The one by Watkins Park.
Oh, They was hooping in that.
Oh,
joint?
Mitchellville.
You know, I'm tripping. I
Yeah.
didn't do hooping in. They do hooping.
Yeah. They hooping all LA Fitnesses.
They be hooping in that joint. They used to
No,
hoop in there.
I'm saying that. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like I know they hooping there, but I didn't know like how often or how heavy it was now. Like since the pandemic type shit. So that's
It's not too crazy. You might catch a bad day. It's very rare for real.
Hey, Nick, they
Bruh.
wax
Until
them.
then.
Nick,
Huh?
They wax them floors, young. Them floors used to be OC.
Yeah, it's straight in there. It's straight, bro. Bro, what nobody playing for 6 months, almost to a year.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess they
for
got
sure,
no
be
choice to
straight.
do it there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
I'm about to watch the floors again.
after I remember that shit. Like LA Fitness, I used to hate it because like sometimes you had to wait forever to get some bump, bro. But like after 5:30, after 5 o'clock type, like nigga, it's like 4 or 5 heads who got next, and you gotta hope they ain't got no mob, bro, or you gotta hope they ain't lying to you when they say they got a mob, like, cause you ain't about to be on that motherfucking court for a minute, bro. And then if you lose, it's gonna be even worse. And then you gotta wait again
Hey, I
or
got a
fucking go
question
work out.
We'll call
About
next
Ali.
big game.
Do
No
Ali
bullshit.
have morning sessions? Like off the early morning sessions?
Hell yeah, all
Yeah.
days of the day, all times of the day.
What time is morning session? Because I think I'm trying to be like more disciplined and go early in the morning, cracking down
Well,
type
He's
thing.
in there off the early.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he in there at 5 a.m. But that's only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But the issue with that is because I tried to do the same thing, right, Nick? But the issue with that is that the nigga talk about he be having like sessions that's full, like the morning sessions be packed and shit. That's what he be telling me. I'm not saying he lied or anything, but it's like I don't know if you can guarantee yourself a morning slot. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you got to go tell him your schedule, and then
And go from there, bro.
and go from there.
If he want this money, he been
Here
No
go Nick.
bullshit.
Look,
make a slide over.
But no,
Here go
I
Nick.
real life think you should fuck with us, bro. I ain't gonna. Eric and Rod know my reasons, man. I need this relief because me and Ali be going through it, bro. Like that shit be killing me. But I think you just need to work out with us, bro. That's what you need to do.
Hilarious, bro.
It don't be funny, bro, because y'all know where I'm coming from and y'all don't be saying shit. Y'all just be letting that shit rock. I'm like, y'all know exactly where my issue.
Many questions as I feel I need to ask, bro. I'll ask him many times. But you say it again? I asked, bro. If I don't hear you, I got you. How am I supposed to know what to do if I don't know what you're saying? I've never seen a workout. I need you to do it for me, bro. Like something. I need an example.
We just be expecting y'all to know what to do when y'all get in there.
Well, nah, he caught Ryan with him every time. I
Go
remember
ahead.
the burpee joint. I remember the burpee.
One of
And
y'all
Maul was like, take it easy on him, bro. He just started. Like he was like, bro, you don't know what a burpee is? He was like, nah, nigga, I don't work out, bro. Like,
okay.
Yeah,
I thought y'all were saying he'll be telling y'all what to do, but he just.
I mean, he does.
Know,
he don't. He just don't. He's not clear. He doesn't clearly communicate it like consistently.
Thank you.
And
That's literally it, bro.
at the same time. So like,
And he get frustrated. He get frustrated at us, bro. And for me, it's a slippery slope. that's the problem. It's a slippery slope at that point, man. I don't really have no serious issues with him. It's just a communication part, bro. Like that shit just gets annoying, bro. That's really what it is, man. But we got our guy DA in here, man. DA popped up on us. What's going on, boss, man? Appreciate everybody who tuning in live, to the Trap It Dive podcast. DA, we got Ryan, my boy Ryan, Eric, and Nick, the full crew for the most part. So yeah, before we go ahead and get started, I want to introduce DA. He is a content producer covering the NFL draft prospects and the New York Jets as well. And before we get started in that aspect, I guess let the people know up front, exactly, who you are. And obviously the podcast that you got going on that covers everything, boss man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And first off, thank you guys for having me on. I always love to connect with brothers who know the game. I get tired of talking to crazy Jet fans who think they know better, right? So that gets exhausted. You guys follow me on Twitter at DA_. So I am a writer for Turn on the Jets. I also host our draft season podcast, which runs from October to May. The last few years, all we've been doing is focusing on quarterbacks, right? Because Sam Darnold has decided to not know how to throw the football. So hopefully that There we go, exactly. But hopefully that's ended this year. We can focus on other positions. But I'm happy to be here with you guys, man. Happy to kick it with y'all tonight.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
I was gonna say I wanted to hear what the crazy stuff the Jets fans were saying. That's what I was interested in.
Listen, man,
everybody got their fans, but I don't imagine what Jets fans are saying. They've been through it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, man. So, like, Jet fans, no, I don't think there is a fan base in this league that overrates their own talent more than Jet fans, man. Yeah, man. I think so.
Crazy.
I think so, man. I think so. Okay, so here's what I'll tell you, right? So when we drafted Sam, right, and Sam Darnold's the latest in the line of quarterbacks. It hasn't worked, right? Geno, Mark Sanchez. We haven't had a good quarterback really since 98 or whatever, when Vinny, before Vinny tore his ACL. But so Sam Darnold was supposed to be the savior, right? And Jet fans ignored all the red flags at USC. They ignored the fact that he was thrown into triple coverage. They ignored the fact that, he was missing reads in the middle of the field. They ignored all that just to, boost him up. And then the minute Zach Wilson declared for the draft, they were like, all right, man, we can forget about you. We didn't really like you that much. Now it's Zach
they
Wilson,
got that
right?
number 2 overall pick. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? It's life without Sam ain't too bad.
Exactly, but had we gotten the first pick, we would have been like, Trevor Lawrence is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So you see it. It's been a constant thing, right? Like if we draft a guy in the 5th round, he's suddenly the next Walter Payton. If we draft a wide receiver in the 7th, it's like, oh, watch, that's gonna be the next Jerry Rice. I've never seen, and my brother's a Giants fan, right? So I'm used to living with somebody who has some kind of sense, right? But talking to Jet fans, I'm like, yo, man, I can't do this with y'all all season. I can't.
Okay, hold on. So your brother's a Giants fan. You're a Jets fan. You live in Maryland.
Yeah.
How the hell did this happen? How did you take an interest in the New York Jets, man? Like, explain that to me. I don't know if you're out. I don't know if you're from another state or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it will make sense. But how? Well, I shouldn't even ask you how the hell did you take interest. But how has that experience been like, just as a Jets fan? Because to be honest with you, I'm a Skins fan.
Okay.
To an extent, I'm gonna be fair to the Cowboys fans on here. Y'all haven't experienced the same thing that us Skins fans have, but we have had some similar hardships over the past decade or two. So how has that experience been? Just having to navigate through it, because you're covering the team. So you have to produce content. You have to talk about them. But I know that shit ain't fun sometimes. How the hell do you navigate that?
So I will tell you, so my grandfather was a Jets fan, right? So we grew up in the Bronx, and my grandfather sat my brother and I down, and he said, listen, you have to pick a team that you're going to root for in the NFL. And I picked the Jets because I like the color green, right? I was like, green means go. Like, all right, we're going to do this. And my brother picked the Giants because, and clearly he made the right decision, right? Like, clearly he made the much better decision at that point. And so, like, for me, like, when we moved down here, so we moved down here in 2015, right? So this was, again, things weren't as bad, right? But like, I'll tell you this, and you guys will get to know me about this. I hate Ryan Fitzpatrick with the fire of 1,000 suns. So 2015, when I had to root for Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think that was the beginning of, like, I was like, yo, listen, man, like, none of this is fun. I cannot root for you willingly, and they hired Adam Gase or whatever. But being down here, I will say, man, like, I've gone to multiple, Washington games. The fan base is passionate, right? The fan base wants to see a winner. But I mean, it just hasn't come together. Although last year, I mean, that defense carried them to the title and almost upsetting Brady, right? So I think they're on the precipice. But I love being a Jets fan, man. It builds character. Although I have a 3-year-old daughter, I'm told that she could be a Ravens fan. She ain't gonna be a Jets fan.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, Washington's building something up here. Just don't let them be. I'll put it this way: don't let her be a Cowboys fan. Don't let the Marylanders, don't let the DMV influence her in any type of way. Do not let her be a Cowboys fan. That's it. That's all I ask, man. That's all I ask.
Yeah. She'll be a Ravens fan, man. We got Lamar. She'll be a Ravens fan.
See, Rick is trying to interject, but he don't realize he's on mute. So clearly he agrees with us. He agrees.
It's not his choice, bro. It's not his choice at all. She gonna like what she want like.
She likes the Ravens because it's purple. Because it's purple. That's her thing. She's like, it's purple and it's a bird.
You don't know she got some good history behind that color. You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's why my boy Rick was in the Skins jersey that one time, right?
Watch yourself. Hey, your boy said he hates Fitz, bro. We like Fitz not because of his numbers, bro. It's the intangible we love about Fitz.
I get it, man. I get it.
Stuff about Fitz. You know what I'm saying?
So you said when the Jets got Fitz, so that means before y'all got Fitz, you didn't like him. Why didn't you like Fitz?
So I mean, so as a Jets fan, right? Like I've seen Fitzpatrick steal money from Buffalo, right? Like he got $55 million from the Bills, and for the strength of like 6-7 games, right? So he stole some money. But it's the same thing with him. Same thing with Adam Gase, right? Like when guys are in your division, you get to see them, 2, 4, 2, sometimes even 3 times if you play in the playoffs, right? So like for me, I would see Fitzpatrick look like he was throwing games, like he belonged in blue chips with Nick Nolte, like just point shaving and stuff. And when we got him, I was like, oh nah. I was like, you know what? I know how this cycle goes because this is how it works with Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? You get Ryan Fitzpatrick to back up your quarterback. Your quarterback gets hurt. Fitzpatrick takes over. Then Fitzpatrick costs you some games. That's usually the cycle, man. That's usually the cycle. So I'm telling you, like, I would firmly expect that Tyler Heineke's probably going to start for y'all at some point. Like, I think that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But I hate Fitzpatrick, man. I do with a passion. He's one of the players that I just absolutely like. The minute the Jets got him, I said, all right, man, Gino might as well pack his bags. This ain't going to work. I know what's going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen.
Fitz actually has some cool stats with the Jets, bro.
He did. He set records.
Hold up.
Just now, Fitzpatrick did his thing.
He went 39. He went 39.
He did set records, right? But look, you guys are from me. You guys have been here longer than I have, right? Like, you know how it gets incredibly hot in the DMV in the summer, right? If I said, you know what, it's only going to be 101 this year. It's only going to be 101 this year. You'd be like, all right, I'll take it. I'm used to 105. Like the Jets fans, we're used to bad quarterback play. So if Fitzpatrick comes around, he throws for 30 touchdowns and 14 picks. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. But I knew, look, man, the other shoe was going to drop, and it dropped the following season. It did. Like I was like, yo, here it is. We paid him $1 million for nothing.
It did.
I mean, and secondly, I will never forget because somebody said within the Washington community, it was a reporter. He was making the case for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I laughed. I didn't mean to insult him if it came across that way on Twitter, but the man, basically his title was essentially proving or making the case that a lot of people say that come on, bro. A lot of people saying that Fitzpatrick hasn't delivered, but in 2015 he delivered it with the Jets, and I'm like, bruh, they were 10-5 going into week 17 against, I think it was the Patriots. And this motherfucker the Bills, and he had like 2 picks, 3 turnovers or something like that. I'm like, what you mean he delivered? They didn't fucking make the playoffs. That's not a delivery. They did not deliver. So I'm like, and when you mentioned the perspective that, and he's also covering Washington, he's a fan of the team as well. But like when you look at that from the perspective of a fan, when you think that you have these good players, it doesn't always add up logically in the head. Sometimes you make an argument for somebody when you really shouldn't be making it, and that's kind of crazy. Fitzpatrick did not deliver in 2015, and Dakota, I'm gonna have to kick you out. You gotta go
all the time. I'm a Mavericks fan, right? And we got Tim Hardaway Jr. I made excuses for Tim Hardaway for a long time. I made excuses for Tim Hardaway Jr. for a long time.
I could tell. I felt the energy when he came on the show, man. I felt that.
Yeah, I've made excuses for Tim Hardaway Jr. for a long time, so it's all good.
Wait, what's wrong with Tim Hardaway, bro? He all right.
So Tim's much better with us than he's ever been. And ultimately, like you can say that it was the Tim Hardaway trade, not the Kristaps Porzingis trade, right? Because he's the one that's been balling. But my worry with Tim, man, is that so he's due for a new contract now, and my worry is that you can't let him go because he plays really well next to Luka, and you're looking for guys that play well next to Luka. But can you justify paying him $29-30 million to keep him? And that's kind of my apprehension towards it.
That's what the cap is going for right now. You got players on the bench that's getting paid like crazy contract numbers. So I mean, I just feel like these role players are coming up off these chains, man. So I mean, I think we're gonna have to give him what he wants. To be honest with you, just like
I think so too.
If we're looking for players to build around Luka, he's definitely one of them because he is a lockdown shoot. I mean, they are a shooter. You know what I'm saying?
What, bro? He a shooter or a lockdown defender? What is he, bro?
I mean, I wasn't trying to say. I was trying to say something else, but
he's a shooter, and that's what you want around Luka, right? You want guys that are gonna knock down shots. I think also, I mean, and he doesn't hesitate. Like that's what you want. You want a guy that's not going to Luka finds him.
Yeah, Hooper.
Well,
Yeah.
I just
before
think I think he should have had a ball a little bit more in his hands. I feel like
I
he
think
could
so
create
too.
more.
No, I think you're spot on. I think Dallas and I think
He
hiring
plays
Jason
super
Kidd.
aggressive in the playoffs. He
Yeah,
plays
yeah,
super
yeah,
aggressive this year.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what
He
you
was putting.
yeah, and I think what you want to make sure with Luka, right, is that because you saw it even, in the Clippers towards the end, like Luka started losing his legs a little bit, right? So he was getting a lot in the mid range, not so much in the step back range. So you get somebody else involved that's handling the ball for him or whatever. Then he's not as exhausted when you get into playoffs. Because Luka's a beast, man, and at 22 years old to do what he does and be a perennial MVP candidate, like that shit is no joke. But you want to make sure that he's ready for the playoffs. You want to make sure that he's ready for the playoffs.
So let
Luka's
me ask you
definitely a
about
problem,
Luka,
man.
man, because before we
Yeah.
get into the Jets, like,
Yeah.
what is this news about him being upset in Dallas? I'm gonna just leave it out there for both Ryan and UDA since we're on the topic. What the hell is that? I have no idea. So help me out.
Yeah, I mean, I think one, he butted heads with Carlisle, and Carlisle always butts heads with young players, right? He's done it with Dennis Smith. He's done it with pretty much any young point guard that we've gotten. The only time that Rick Carlisle has never butted heads with a point guard is when we had Jason Kidd, right? Like that's the only time. So I think it's that. I think also Rick Carlisle I don't know any other coach that for 10 years cannot win playoff series, right? And titles tend to buy you cachet, right? Titles tend to buy you cachet. But 10 years without winning a playoff series, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like for you to just kind of skate by. So I think Luka, because he even said it at the exit interview. He's like, we got to get Porzingis involved more. Carlisle did not try to get him involved in the series. I think Luka realizes like, I need this big motherfucker to score in order to be able to do this, right? But I think it's that. I think Luka's a young player, an ascending player, and Carlisle rubs young players the wrong way. He just does. I think that's what it comes down. I think him and J Kidd are going to get along a lot better because I think also a lot of J Kidd, like even when he was in Milwaukee, he related to Giannis. Giannis was livid when he got fired. He was livid when he got fired, right? And they've been talked about like how in LA under Vogel, he's done really, really well. So I think they're going to do fine. But I think with him, the unhappiness comes from that. And the fact that Mark Cuban's out here trusting this Bitcoin dude or whatever and letting him do whatever he wants. Let him do whatever he wants. But I think it's I'm really excited to see what Nico and Kidd do though, because I think there's a real important on Luka.
Definitely excited to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
I like it, GM. I hope
Exactly. Those relationships, right? Because we haven't been able to close for free agents, right? We haven't been able to close.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so hopefully, I think that cash in with the name, the connections he's made with Nike.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, he's able to bring in. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I really want Zach LaVine. I think he'll be.
Oh, I love LaVine, man. LaVine's a beast. LaVine is a beast, man. I want him out of Chicago. I want him out of Chicago. That's what I want. LaVine's a beast. Yeah. I think he mad. Yeah, and you need somebody in the playoffs that is going to get a bucket, right? Like you see it with Phoenix now, right? Yeah, Phoenix knows like, it's Booker and CP. Like, all right, when we need a bucket, that's what it's going to go to. With Milwaukee's got 3 bucket, but Drew Holiday tends to disappear sometimes on the offensive end. But I think with Dallas, I think you got to get another guy that's going to make things easier for Luka on the offensive end because he also took a step defensively this year too. He played much better defense, played more effort, more on defense. You want to get somebody that's going to get him some buckets, so that way, you know what? Luka, you can finish it in the fourth. You can take care of it in the fourth. I have 3 quarters.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about some New York Jets right quick, right? And before we get into the quarterback situation, you guys hired Robert Saleh as your new head coach, and I mean I know he's new and it's hard to kind of fully evaluate him as it stands today. But what differences to this point have you all recognized or have you recognized between he and Adam Gase? The previous head coach, have there been any noticeable differences between these two?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what you saw, and you saw this when they drafted Zach and the conversation that they had with him, what he said to me was like, you're not going to have to save this organization. We're going to uplift you. And I think that's a big message to these young quarterbacks, right? Who come in highly drafted. You put the entire weight of these franchises on you, right? It's similar to what happened to Dwayne Haskins, right? When he got drafted in Washington, like so much pressure was put on him, right? Not just by the team, but also, I mean, he grew up in PG County, right? So like, again, that's a lot of pressure for these young guys. So I think one, you see the energy, the commitment, the transparency. I think also the investment in the defensive line for a really long time, right? Like Darrelle Revis to me is probably, if he's not the greatest cornerback to ever play the game, he's second behind Prime. Like it's Deion and him, and that's it, right? For a long time, the Jets put all these resources into the secondary, right? You signed Cromartie, you drafted Kyle Wilson, right? And you ignored the edge, right? Like you guys in Washington, you got Chase Young, right? You had Ryan Kerrigan, right? You got Montez Sweat, that's where the resources should go to, because you're closer to the quarterback. That's where you impact the game. And that's what you've seen with Robert Saleh, right? You signed Carl Lawson, you signed Vinny Curry, you signed him away from Philly, you signed Sheldon Rankins away from the Saints. Now you put them with Quentin Williams in a 4-man front. You're trusting that defense to get home, right? You get CJ Mosley back, which is big. So I think one, it's a commitment to changing the way this team has operated over the last few years. I think two, also, when you hire defensive coaches, you worry that they're only going to be coaches for one side of the ball, right?
Yeah,
he's not like that at all. He's been sitting in on offensive meetings. He brought his hand-picked offensive coordinator from San Francisco, Matt LaFleur's little brother, right? So he clearly has an identity that he wants to establish here, which is right. Taking shots down the field via play action, which is where I think Zach Wilson does really well in, and you saw that at BYU. And you got receivers now. You got Elijah Moore, you got Denzel Mims, you still got Crowder, right? And you took Keelan Cole from Jacksonville. So now you have depth at the wide receiver position too, which is something you haven't really had in a long time. So what I like, and again, Adam Gase, I remember when we fired Todd Bowles, I said, listen, man, Adam Gase is probably the worst dude that you're going to hire, because whenever you hire guys from your division and you don't, and especially like right after they got fired,
how did you not see it before you hired him? Come on.
Right, exactly, right. Like I was like, yo, this is not going to work. This is going to be terrible. And then sure enough, he was in Miami. Yeah. And Miami, look at Tannehill, right? Like, look at Tannehill. Tannehill gets away from him, suddenly he's an MVP candidate, right? And I think where Miami is now, like they fire Gase, they hire Brian Flores, they draft Tua, right? Like they won 10 games last year. Like removing Adam Gase, I think is such a big deal, right? Because one, now you don't have a coach that's on a different timeline from a general manager, right? So you hired Joe Douglas last year, but Joe Douglas didn't sign anybody last year because he knew, he's like, listen, I'm gonna fire this motherfucker after the season's over. So you got a coach that's on the same timeline with your general manager, and that creates synergy, right? So like for example, with you guys, Ron Rivera and your general manager, they came in together. You know what I'm saying? Like Dan Snyder has become more hands off, like couldn't keep his hands to himself, so now he's going to become even more hands off. But also in Dallas, it's similar, right? Like you guys hired McCarthy, and you hired Jerry Jones' son. So like that's what you want to see. You want to see guys that grow together. So I'm really excited to see what he does, because even in San Francisco, he lost Bosa, he lost DeForest Buckner when they traded him to the Colts, and that defense didn't miss a beat. That defense did not miss a beat, and I'm excited to see this defense with that front four and CJ Mosley.
So Jets always had a solid little front seven too, man.
Yeah, with Leo and Q, but also Leo didn't do well here, but he's better with the Giants, right? So like that's kind of what you see.
I thought he was gonna be nasty with y'all.
Oh, me too, man, me too. And they were calling him the next Reggie White when they drafted. I was like, I thought we were good.
Yeah.
So what are the I know you mentioned he's involved with all areas of the team so far, especially early on, which is pretty important. What do you think his top priorities are for, at least for 2021? What is his top priorities? Is this simply to just like do a quick fix of things, or is it like managing or leading or developing? What do you think is his top priorities for the Jets in 2021?
So I think it's developing, man. I think whenever you have a young quarterback like Zach, right, who's coming from a place that he didn't play a ton of great competition, right? Like at BYU didn't play a ton of top teams. So you want to make sure that you ease him into it, right? Yeah, and that's why you're going to see them lean on the running game, right, with Michael Carter. You're going to see them lean on the short passing game with Corey Davis, who had a really good year with Tennessee last year. But I think the goal is going to be to compete for the spot in 2022. I think because one, you have the extra game now, right? Two, you're playing in a division with Miami, who was pretty good last year, Buffalo, who's the best team in that division, hands down from top to bottom, and you have New England, who, again, I didn't really care too much for New England's wide receiver additions, but they added Hunter Henry, they added Jonnu Smith, they fortified an offensive line, and they still got Bill Belichick, right? Who, again, still the best coach in the game. So I think you're not gonna. It's gonna be tough for you to play off spot right out of the gate. Also, rookie quarterbacks, man, they tend to struggle. They just tend to struggle. That's just kind of the reality. The Dak played really well his rookie year, right? But not everybody's Dak. Like that's also the reality, right? Not everybody's Dak. And I think, so go ahead.
No, I just had a question because you talking about the quarterback player. I was thinking about Zach Wilson. I just want to know, like, have you had an opportunity to see Zach? What have you seen so far with how he's played and how he's handled cap and things like that? And also, I was a big fan of Elijah Moore coming out of Ole Miss. Yeah. Because, AJ Brown, I'm a Titans fan.
DK Metcalf, right?
Yeah. So, I paid close attention to the Ole Miss receivers. And, of course, I got Corey Davis. How you feel about the receiving core going into the year?
Yeah. So your question about Zach, I mean, I think, one, the off-platform platform throws you see from him, right? He doesn't miss reads in the middle of the field. I think the worry with him is that BYU's offensive line was really, really good, and then you saw him tend to move into pressure a lot. Like, so he would turn his back to pressure a bunch of times. He always went for the kill shot, always went for that shot down the field, right? And I think he's going to have to learn to just take what the defense gives him, right? You're going to have to learn to slow down the game a little bit. But what I do like is his decisiveness. I think he doesn't play scared, right? You mentioned AJ Brown, and and they showed this video when Elijah Moore was drafted, where AJ Brown told him, like, listen, you were the dog at Ole Miss. It wasn't us, it was you. And that made me excited because Elijah Moore, I remember when we did draft season in January, we had Elijah Moore in like our top 5 receivers hands down in the draft, right? And then this is what I mean about Jets Twitter in particular. Like, you'll see, like, some folks will say something, and then Jets fans will be like, oh, I knew that all along, even though they didn't really know that all along. Elijah Moore,
you ain't no shit.
You ain't no shit, right? So Elijah Moore is that guy for Jets fans now because they're like, oh, I always knew it. And I'm like, oh, yeah? And then they're like, yeah, no, I saw him a ton at Ole Miss. I'm like, no, you didn't. Stop lying. But so I think Zach has the receivers. He's got receivers that are good with the ball in their hands. He's got receivers that are good in yak situations, right? Because that's what you want to do. You want to take 3 steps, let the ball go, let your receivers do work, right? When you look at a team like the Titans, right? When you guys had Arthur Smith, Ryan Tannehill feasted off play action, right? Because again, you're not going to put 8 in the box with Derrick Henry. You will eat that up, right? But what you do is now you put an 8 in the box to try to stop Derrick Henry, and you're singling up AJ Brown and Julio Jones, Tannehill to take easy reads, 3-step drop and let go. And that's what you want with Zach Wilson. You want him to be able to just 3-step drop, let go of the ball. You don't want him to feel like he has to sit back there and take these hits. And the offensive line is much better too, right? Like, we traded up for Elijah Vera Tucker. We signed Moses, former Washington right tackle. I think you have a good chance for him to do well this year. But again, it's not even so much about this year. It's how well can we get you to that way in the point where 2022 you're not losing us games, because he's gonna have rough spots, man. And just like you start out of Carolina, which I think we'll win that, but then you play New England on Monday Night Football. The week after, that's a tough matchup for any quarterback. But yeah, I'm really excited about the receivers because also the big thing, every receiver on that team is under the age of 26. That's huge because now you're throwing with this quarterback, right? Like with the Titans, for you guys, you added Julio Jones, you're a veteran team and you're on the cusp, right? If Julio gives you, if Julio is, that takes you to the next level, right? You guys don't need to wait for a young receiver to break out. You banking on Julio to be that threat opposite AJ, and I don't think there's any corner duo in this league that can cover AJ Brown and Julio Jones one-on-one. I don't think that exists. So I mean I like the way we built it, and my hope is that with seeing what other teams have done, that we emulate that. That's my hope.
You're my favorite guest, man. Like,
I can't wait to see that boy Crowder hoop, though. I just want to see that offense. Y'all still got Tevin?
Yeah, we got Tevin. Yeah, we got Tevin.
Who you think gonna be starting running back for the Jets?
So I think it's gonna be Michael Carter, man, from UNC. I think it's gonna be him. But I think Tevin's going to get good carries. I think you're going to see a running back by committee, similar to what they did in San Francisco. I think the hot hand. I think what you said is on point, right? Like, if the running game goes, then suddenly if Zach Wilson's taking 24, 25 attempts, right, and he's completing 18 of them, you'll live with that because you're like, all right, man, we can do that. We're going to take some shots off play action off of that. But I think it's going to be Michael Carter.
That offense definitely on paper, man. They look nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
But games ain't won on paper, right? That's what we say.
So first off, so Jared, hey, I hope you feeling better, man. I appreciate you checking in. It's been a little minute, bro. I hope everything good with you. DA, Jared got a question, man. So
yes, sir.
I'll just read it verbatim. He said New York is a huge market where the fans are very critical. Do you see that as extra pressure on a young quarterback, or does Wilson look like a quarterback that can make that pressure work for him?
So I think Zach Wilson's biggest issue is going to be his mom. That's going to be his biggest issue because his mom.
Elaborate more.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. So his mom is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about like an anti-vaxxer, like she's out there, right? And she's on Instagram Live all the time talking crazy. All the time talking crazy. So I think that's the bigger issue. That's
gonna be interesting.
That's the bigger issue, right? Because New York is gonna make a story out of everything. So if you step out, they're gonna air your mom out. But they caught his mom on Instagram the other day, like about 2 weeks ago, and you hear Zach telling her, like, yo, I'll pay you to shut down your Instagram. Like, I will give you money to shut this down. So I think Zach gets it. But again, struggling in BYU in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Provo, is very different than struggling versus the Bills, you know what I'm saying, on a Thursday night football game when you're like, say, 5-2 and trying to catch them for the division lead, right? Like, this is not college, and he's going to have to show that he's mentally tough for that. And we're talking about a kid who he comes from old money, right? His uncle owns JetBlue, right? Like realistically, the struggle.
I didn't know that.
Plugged in.
So realistically, the struggle, right? Like, so then, for example, for a kid like Justin Fields, right? Like Justin Fields knows the grind, right? Like Justin Fields knows what it's like to be like, yo, listen, man, like I'm playing ball in Chicago where it's snowy and all this stuff or whatever. He comes from a program in Ohio State where every game is big in Ohio State. There are no off games in Ohio State. With Zach Wilson, he doesn't really come from that, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back from that first taste of adversity. And it could come as early as week 1 because we open with Carolina, right? If Sam Darnold outplays you in week 1, the guy that they traded to make way for you, that noise is going to get a little louder, even though it's only week 1 and you really shouldn't. But you know how New York media does.
Yeah, they're going to amplify everything for sure.
They are. So I'm curious. Yeah.
So how did he perform at OTAs and minicamp? Like, what was the narrative, or I guess the reports and opinions coming out just out of that period? Because that was the first look that anybody got to see against him as a professional quarterback. So what was the word behind him on OTAs and minicamp?
Yeah, so we had DJ Bienemy, who's the beat writer for the Daily News. He came on one of our podcasts, Badlands, and he shared that the biggest thing was his connection with Elijah Moore was the one guy that, again, was cooking DBs every day, right? And he was fine. And he was finding them, and he was finding them. That was the key, right? He also looked poised, right? Kept his eyes down, didn't seem skittish, right? Which is kind of what you want to see when they start hitting for real. Like, all right, man, like what's gonna happen when Quentin Williams is chasing you down? Like, are you gonna, lower your eyes or whatever and get smacked? And he wasn't doing that, And if he threw an interception, he shook it off real quick. So that's what you want to see if that translates as we, return. I think like the 30th is when we return for like actual OTAs. But I think you saw his decisiveness. You saw the deep ball, which he showed a lot of in BYU. But the biggest thing, and I'm telling you, man, I love fantasy football. I'm drafting Elijah Moore somewhere because I think he's going to be the guy that gets a ton of targets in this offense, man. Like just from the slot and jet sweeps and things like that. And his relationship with Zach already, they went to other games together. They went to steakhouses together. Like, and Elijah Moore's smart. He's like, yo, listen, man, this guy's going to be my quarterback. I'm going to buddy up next to him so he tries to find me or whatever. But he's going to get open consistently enough that Zach's going to find him. So I think that was the big takeaway for them.
Hey, man, you got to worry about Crowder, man. That's Crowder special right there.
Yeah. And Crowder eats from the slot, right?
That's my man's specialty right there. Hey, I'm a huge Crowder fan. I like
Damn good receiver.
Listen, Elijah Moore's going to be better than Crowder.
No, I'm not debating that at all. All I'm saying is he going to have to work for them.
He's going to have to earn it. But that's what you want, right?
Crowder do that. 100%. Crowder do that. He's been doing it since he's been in the league.
This man riding on Elijah Moore for 2 seconds because he went to Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, honestly, bro,
man.
You'd be surprised how much time I was, bro.
Yeah. And also, I will say, man, the college football product, like for me, man, I enjoy that a little bit more than the NFL. Like the college football product is dope. Like I can't get enough of that. I'm looking forward to it. Like it's just a regular full season, right? EA Sports is bringing back NCAA, so that's dope too.
Yeah,
so I'm for that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
The only thing, and I love college ball too. The only thing that gets annoying is just trying to keep up with 30 fucking games every single week. It's like I don't know which one to tune into, so I just fucking channel flip every Saturday. Be like, all right, this game, this is close. All right, this game, this is close. Let me go ahead and tune into this one. And then if I'm betting, I'm just locked in on one game. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. All right, Jared, yeah, man. For sure, man. It's again, if you need anything, bro, let us know. You know what I'm saying? Me and Rick around. Figure things out from there.
Sizzle live in effect, man. I'm glad to see you all right out there, man.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see you all right out there, man. We're gonna chop it up soon. We're gonna get you on the show tunes. The show too soon, man.
Yeah,
so
we gotta make sure he's healthy. We gotta make sure my man healthy, bro. All right.
Even if you're in the hospital, man, we got you, man. We here.
Oh, all right. I'm saying you put that out there. You put that out there. All right. Hey, so look, before we transition, one more thing, man. What are some potential issues that he could face? I guess in his rookie year, talking about Zach Wilson still. Like, what are some things that he can face that, like us, the people who aren't, knee deep into the AFC East and New York Jets? What are some things that he can probably face that can be challenging in his rookie year?
So I mean, I think that Bill Belichick defense, right? Bill Belichick was 16-1 against rookie quarterbacks over the last 5 years against rookie quarterbacks. And the first time he sees that vaunted Patriot, 5-2-4 look or whatever, I think you want to see if he panics, right? Because again, the thing that went viral with Sam was, right, he was like, "Oh, I'm seeing ghosts," right?
Seeing ghosts. Oh my goodness.
Seeing ghosts, right?
Hold on, I am missing it.
Oh, that was Monday Night Football too. You shouldn't miss
Yeah,
that.
I guess the
You see
Patriots.
that game?
No, I mean I'm pretty sure I watched the game, but was this a quote?
Yeah, they caught him on the
He
mic.
said it. Yeah, he
He
said
was
it.
mic'd up.
One night.
Yeah,
Lying, bro. He said he was seeing ghosts.
I swear, bro. He
Yeah.
missed like 4 first half games. Like, it was like bad. Like,
and he's telling Adam Gase like, "Yo, man, I'm seeing ghosts out there." Adam Gase is like, "Yo, cut it out."
Yeah, I'm about to go watch that game.
I think they had to
Yeah.
remind him that he was mic'd up too, right?
They,
He was
they
like,
had to tell him. Adam Gase told him. Adam Gase is like, "Yo, you have a mic on you." You have a mic
Oh,
on.
bro, that shit was crazy.
But I think that's the worry, right? Because you're stepping into an AFC East with the Bills again, who again, really good team. Josh Allen's way better than I thought he was going to be, right? And the Bills are loaded, I think, from top to bottom. So the Bills are a really good team. You have Miami, who won 10 games last year, and the Patriots, who again, Cam doesn't have COVID anymore, right? So again, you get a healthy Cam in New England. They also got Mac Jones, who, you know, aside from the DUI stuff, probably doesn't make too many mistakes, right? So aside from the DUI stuff, but I think that's going to be the worry, man. I think that's going to be the worry. The worry is, how do you respond to these defenses, because these are really good defenses that are going to come at you. And also, you're starting a brand new offensive line, new right tackle, new left guard. McGovern and Becton are the only guys back. So how are they going to react to these heightened expectations? Because also, that's the thing too, right? Even if you think that the Jets aren't going to win 9-10 games, which I don't think they are, there's added pressure because you have a new quarterback, a new head coach, right? And the assumption is that you're on your way up. That's the assumption. The assumption is, all right, this is a team that there'll be a team to be reckoned with in a couple of years, right? So how do they deal with that pressure? But I think, and how does Saleh keep the team together at the first sign of difficulty? Because if they lose to Carolina week 1, they're probably going to lose to New England in week 2. So now you're 0-2, right? You're 0-2 with 15 games left, including a trip to London against the Falcons, right? Your schedule is structured in a way that this season could spiral out of control really quickly if you don't start off on a good foot. So I think that's going to be key to watch.
They better win that first game. I'll tell you that much.
I think y'all can get the Carolina.
Oh yeah, Carolina. They can get Carolina.
I think we beat Carolina and lose to New England. Because
Carolina's home or on the road?
Carolina's home. It's going to be in Carolina. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. But
I like that guy, again, their head coach.
Yeah, Matt Rule's good, right? And he did really good work in college. They have to, and there's no way, like, because, you know, and putting the team as a fan, right? Like, I've never, you know, and folks will tell me on Twitter, like, one of the things that they enjoy about, like, the way that we cover the team is that we're incredibly balanced, right? Like, we don't get too high or too low with them. If they do something bad, we criticize it. If they do something good, we praise it. Sam Darnold was bad the entire time he was in New York. Right? So him going to another team, I'm not going to suddenly be like, oh yeah, I'm terrified of Sam Darnold. No, man, I'm looking forward to playing Sam Darnold. The Panthers offensive line is bad. Quentin Williams going to have a big game. Carl Lawson's going to have a big game. And that's where the game is going to be won, right? Is how much pressure are you going to get on Sam Darnold to where he throws up, to where he's seeing ghosts, and this time it's us, the ones that are big green.
All right. Cool. So you spoke on the roster to an extent. More than an extent, but I guess we can transition to a different question. The position groups. If you were to name 1 or 2 that were the weaker spots on the team, what are those position groups that we have to pay attention to, or that the Jets have concerns at in terms of the weaker spots on the team?
So cornerback by far, we have not a one starting cornerback on the roster right now. Not a one, not a one. And it would have. I mean, so we got Bryce Hall from Virginia, right? Who's probably the best corner on the team. They bring back Rodney Poole. They let him walk. They drafted Jason Pinnock and Michael Carter, the other Michael Carter. So they drafted 3 cornerbacks. So essentially, at some point, you're gonna roll out a secondary with guys that have played less than 1 full year of football. That's a tough ask, right? Because again, how are you defending DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson? How are you defending them with rookie quarterbacks? Like that's a tough ask, right? We played Dallas this year, right? How are you defending CeeDee Lamb and
Dallas is easy. But
listen, until they show me it's easy, until they show me it's easy, right? I won't believe it. But so cornerback by far is the worst group on the team, and tight end. I think tight end is just a terrible group. And so Chris Herndon from University of Miami, right? Who showed some in his rookie year, but last year, and again, it could be the Adam Gase factor, right? We saw it in Miami. Might get that his first year away from Adam Gase, but maybe Chris Herndon blows up. But the tight end group as it's constructed right now is not a good group, right? And as we all know, a rookie quarterback's best friend is usually the tight end, right? Because you open the middle of the field, mismatch nightmare, et cetera. So those will be the 2 groups that I think you got to watch out for, because the pass rush is great. But if they do not get home, you're leaving these young cornerbacks singled up against, veteran wide receivers for 60 minutes. That's a hard ask for any young cornerbacks. And you have LaMarcus Joyner at safety. You have Marcus May. You have Ashton Davis. So you have some talent on the back end. But if they're busy covering up these mistakes for these rookie cornerbacks, the season can get long really, really quickly if these guys don't hold up.
Yeah, we say it all the time about the defensive line needing to get home. Like if you're asking your cornerbacks to cover even more than 3 seconds, that's a fucking ass. That's a hell of an ask, and it's hard to do like week in and week out and play by play basis. So I guess it seems like at this point, early on in Saleh's tenure, he's gonna be relying heavily on that front seven, and mainly that defensive line to kind of help you guys out. If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, you're spot on. And you get CJ Mosley back, right? Yeah, he had COVID last year. He opted out. So you get him back, a middle linebacker. You signed Gerard Davis from Detroit, who's, again, a speedy linebacker that can cover in the flats. I think you're going to see a lot of...
Damn, that's a nice loss. That's a nice linebacker coach.
Yeah, with them two, right? And then that front four. So you're going to rely a lot on that front six and then hope that the five back can hold up enough. Because Jay, you're right. In this league in particular, if you cannot throw for 300 yards consistently as a quarterback, this is not for you. You need to take up badminton because, again, the league is set up for you right now. It is set up for any quarterback. Anybody can throw for 250, 300 yards now, right? Because the minute you touch a receiver, it's pass interference, right? The minute anybody breathes around you as a quarterback, it's a flag, right? So that's asking a lot for these corners. And even last year, I think that they showed Stephon Diggs was cooking DBs off the line in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. That's all it took. That's all it took. That's all it took. 2 seconds. Right?
Where did you fit in with this, Rick?
I'm just letting you know, bro, because that's how it is, bro. I can relate. 2 seconds, bro. By the time I get off the man, bro, that's 1 second. Then the cut across the field, that's the second one.
Done deal.
Crap. It's all, bro. Once I cook you at the line of scrimmage, bro, it's over, bro.
Done deal.
Hands up, bro.
Hey, Ryan, you got an opinion on what this man's saying right now?
Ryan don't got nothing to say.
I have no opinion on Rick's conversation about him getting up the line in 2 seconds.
2 seconds, bro. That's all it takes, bro. You seen Stephon.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And my route now, my route's not even there yet. My route's not even up there yet. You feel me? So it's cool.
Okay. Right. So your route's not there yet, but you get up the line in 2 seconds.
Absolutely. That's not routes. Yeah, that's footwork.
I mean, it's a surprise.
Okay. You saying his release top tier, bro? That's telling, Rick.
Yeah, I'm tired. I told Mual to start talking for me, bro.
I can't look. I don't. You know, I don't say too much. You know what I'm saying with that stuff. I
just let everybody just talk and just let me go off. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I ask the questions. I want to hear y'all opinion. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, you say what you got to say, and I'm gonna be I'm like for sure. Whatever the film say. Matter of fact, we need to talk to K because we need to get this shit settled instantly.
I was just about to say
100%. Hey, K said K gonna be over.
Make sure K get this film tonight. You know,
K don't need this. This don't got nothing to do with nothing.
Hey, so DA, what? So our boy K is he plays for Coastal Carolina. And we basically grew up with him and shit like that. So my man Rick is his cousin and shit. So basically, they got something set up where we got something set up where they about to do like 10 reps of one-on-ones because Rick and K both confident in their ability. So we try and set this thing up before K season starts. So this is what you walked into.
All I'm saying is, bro, I just don't want nobody to record because I don't want to mess up my man's stock. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm not trying to mess up my man's stock, so we gotta keep all the videos in house because I'm not trying to mess up his stock, bro. You feel me? I don't want to be. That's gonna hurt me.
You want to be the reason he doesn't get drafted? I respect that, man. I respect that.
You do that in the cut.
He's that risk.
He's right here since I came out the womb, bro.
All right, we done. We done with K. We done with K. We done with Rick. All right. Hey, so listen. A couple more questions, and we get out of here, man. Da, appreciate your time, bro. We talked about the position groups, but what are the position battles? The ones that you're looking into. If it's the same thing, then obviously you could kind of elaborate a little bit more in terms of the players. But what position battles are most important to you as this training camp approaches?
Yeah, so I think the other guard position is going to be important. That's Greg Van Roten versus Alex Lewis. I think that's going to be huge because you have 4 of the 5 starters already entrenched, right? We just signed Morgan Moses from you guys, and he's going to start at right tackle.
Yeah.
George Fant can become the swing tackle, but whoever starts at that other guard position, I think is going to be key. Because again, if you're bringing pressure to Zach Wilson, it's going to be up that A gap, right? It's going to be right over center, right in that guard spot. And I think Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be fine. We worry about who starts at the other guard position, and then whoever comes out at cornerback, man, because I think. Again, you drafted 3 rookie cornerbacks, right? Like I mentioned, you got Bryce Hall, who's probably going to start at one of the positions. He's your best corner. You don't have a slot corner right now either, right? So you're essentially having 3 guys compete for 2 positions, and I'm interested to see how that turns out because I do think that if you fill one of these holes with one of these young guys, right? Whether it's Jason Pinnock or Brandon Nichols or Michael Carter II, if you fill the hole with one of these guys, then that means that next year draft you just have to add another outside corner. You have 2 firsts, right? Because you got the other first for Jamal Adams. So you want to find guys that one fit Saleh's scheme this year, right? So that way you don't have to fill those holes next year, right? Because you have a ton of cap space next year. Also, you have all these draft picks. You got a 2nd and a 4th for Sam too that you get next year too. So you have a lot of these picks where you can really turn this around really quickly. But it's cornerback and that other guard position. Those are going to be the biggest. If you solidify those spots, then realistically next year's draft you add another edge rusher, you pair him across from Carl Lawson, and you set, right? Or you draft a corner on the outside and you're set. Or if you add a premium running back, right? Next year's running back class is really, really strong. You can do that too. You can afford to do that because you have a bunch of your positions already filled. So those are going to be the biggest ones.
I'm about to say if y'all are good enough record wise, y'all may be able to attract a decent. I don't know who's out there, but y'all may be able to attract a decent free agent or 2 in terms of that guard or corner position. So hey, y'all might be all right.
Hey, Rap, I think the Jets can go. Now I know you say you think y'all might lose to the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. I think if the Patriots play anything like they played last year, I definitely think if y'all can get up at least 7 to 10 points on them, and they're not gonna be able to stay in that game. Yeah. But it looks like they got the Titans week.
We do.
I think the Jets can go into that game 3-0.
That's an upset alert right there.
And I think they can go in there 3-0. And I think with that front 7, y'all gonna have to show. Them corners is definitely gonna be on the island, bro. But
that's a tall task to ask.
It's a tall task, but I mean the confidence is a little different when you 3-0.
Oh yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different
when you 3-0. That's all I'm saying. It's a tall task, bro.
But you know what else is also different? Is when you walk into the doors down at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you walk through the doors.
I think you guys remember whenever Blake Griffin would catch an alley-oop, right? Like how just like the stadium would just erupt. Derrick Henry is that like Derrick Henry is a wreck your whole team kind of run, right? Like you saw it with Baltimore, not last year but the year before. Like he was hitting them in the mouth, right? In the mouth. That defense was exhausted by the 4th quarter. They just were not trying to wrap him up, right? And so I think Derrick Henry is the best back in football, right? I think AJ Brown, if he's not.
Hey, Derrick Henry got what, like 98 against Dallas?
Yeah.
98 yards. Oh, he ain't crack 100. He's not the best back in football, bro.
Last year.
I mean, I'm not saying not last year, but I'm saying last time we played them, he got 98 yards.
But he also averaged like 5 yards a carry.
That's cool. We ain't have a D-line for real, but he still only got 98 yards.
This man Rick went from only. Hey, that is incredible. He forgot he averaged 5 yards a carry, so he had to change his tune.
Hey, look, bro, it's cool. His average was cool, bro. We ain't have a D-line.
Keep him under 100, right? Keep him under 100.
5 yards
He's
a carry.
under 100, bro. That's
if Zeke averaged 5 yards a carry, he getting 100.
Yeah.
Basically.
Russia was 2021. Just have my money ready, right? I want my money in all ones.
Yeah, hey, right. Chill out.
I was confused because since we talk about the game, what was the score?
We talking about the Jets. Speaking of the Jets, I got a good question.
I'm about to say, Rick cut his computer off.
He looks stupid too.
I didn't like what you were saying, right? Because that's not the I was talking about right now. Right, players when we good, right? I'm gonna make a phone call. We're gonna be playing y'all next year. I'm gonna make a couple phone calls. No need to.
The last time it came to Dallas, I think Kevin Bauer went to the middle of y'all field and started doing him saying the stinking that.
Like I was saying though, back to the Jets. Who we talking about with the Jets? Ryan, shut up.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Nick. I'm not even gonna lie to
So
you.
listen.
No. I do got a serious question. It's actually a two-parter though.
Yes,
Where do you have the Jets finishing in the division? And do you think Robert Saleh can kind of outcoach? Because everybody in the division is pretty good. So you think he can outcoach Brian Flores? I don't think he's gonna get.
So before you go, because that was probably the last thing we're gonna close out with, Nick. So I guess we can just kind of turn it into just everybody. Obviously, Da gets the first stab at this, but just fellas, how do we think the Jets stack up in the AFC East? And obviously towards Nick's question. But yeah, like that was the last thing. How do you think the Jets stack up to the AFC East this year, 2021, and can Saleh outcoach some of the other coaches in?
Yeah, so I mean that's a great question, Nick. I think you have McDermott, Flores, and Belichick. That's a tall ask for anybody, right? I think the Jets on paper, because again, I don't like New England's offseason. I thought that they should have invested more at wide receiver. Belichick has kind of skated the last few years in terms of draft practice. Yeah, right. They said they went and got 2 tight ends, which again, I think it lends itself to the quarterback, but it's also one of those things where you got to get some wide receivers on the outside to win something for you. You're not going to win just with tight end. I do think the Jets finish higher than the Patriots this year. I don't think they finish higher than Miami or Buffalo, though. I think Buffalo is at worst the 3rd best team in the AFC at worst, right? You can make the case that they're second if you take them over Tennessee. I don't necessarily take them over Tennessee because I think when it boils down to it, I think Tennessee.
We can't keep doing this with Tennessee. Stop. You gotta stop. Like he's
Ryan.
I like the Titans, man. I like the Titans. I like the Titans. I think the Titans are a good team. I think also one of the things that I like about the Titans don't scare, right? Like they do not scare, right? Whereas Buffalo,
they definitely scared against the Ravens.
Well, so here's the thing. Here's what I would say, because I love the Ravens, right? And I love Lamar Jackson, but I think there's some games that just transcend that. I think those 2 teams genuinely do not like each other. So I think they could play in Louisville, Kentucky 10 times, and I think they're not going to like each other. They're going to punch each other in the mouth. Yeah. But I think when you look at the AFC, you look at Baltimore, you look at Kansas City, you look at Tennessee, and you look at Buffalo. Those I think are the 4 best teams in the AFC.
I take that.
Yeah. After that, it's kind of a toss-up, right? After that, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Tennessee. I think those are the 4 best teams. I don't like Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh's very good. I think Ben showed that he was starting to get washed up a little bit towards the second half of the season. And I think Mike Tomlin does so much with that team. That team is good because of Mike Tomlin. I don't think they're good because Ben Roethlisberger is still a good quarterback. So when you look at the AFC East, because there's an additional playoff spot, if you take a game from Miami here, a game from Buffalo here, and you sweep New England, suddenly you're 4-2 in that division. That's 4 wins you've banked. Then if you steal the Carolina game, that's 5. Right, so now suddenly you got 5 wins. You feel like similar to what Eric said. You feel a little different. You start to feel yourself.
Hey, the ball is definitely different.
The ball is different, right? Like suddenly your routes are crisper. Suddenly you take shots down the field, right?
Yep. First play.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think the Jets make the playoffs, but I do think they finish better than New England. But I like Miami's team. I think Miami's well coached, and Buffalo, man, Buffalo has drafted really, really well under Brian Beane and McDermott. Josh Allen took a step last year, right? I'm curious to see what happens this year. But Josh Allen's step is more because of Stephon Diggs. It's not because I don't think Josh Allen suddenly figured out how to be a great quarterback. I think Stephon Diggs just played out of his mind last year.
And Cole World.
Right, and Cole Beasley, right? And now you've added Emmanuel Sanders to that receiver, right? So again, Josh Allen just doesn't have to mess it up. That's all he doesn't have to. But I like the Bills, and maybe again finishes 10-7, and I think the Jets finish around like 6-11.
Okay, Nick, where you at with it? How you think the Jets stack up in the AFC East?
Oh man, good question. I'm not gonna say dead last, but they fighting for 4th. For sure.
I'm not gonna say dead last. They fighting for 4th. Yo, Nick is crazy.
I just think it's I do believe in Robert Saleh, but I just feel like their division is too crazy, bro. The only thing I see that they might be able to get over on the Dolphins, only because I don't trust Tua, and they don't have a backup anymore. So I don't know what he's gonna give me. I mean, he got Jalen Waddle now, but other than that, the Patriots defense come back. Everybody that sat out for COVID, so they're not gonna be slouches like they were last year. I do like Kendrick Bourne. He's been trashing all the receivers they got. But I do like Kendrick Bourne. But so yeah, I'm gonna just say between Miami and the Jets, they'd be fighting for fourth. I'm not sure who's gonna get it though. You know what I'm saying? That's it with me.
I guess I'll go right quick. But because I do think I'm piggybacking because I did have the same opinion as Nick in the sense that I feel like Miami with Tua is a huge question mark, and the issue was, and I know you don't like your boy Fitzy, but Fitz had a hell of a season last year, just in terms of like if you were to, well, forget it, because I ain't even about to get into the Fitz side, but Fitz had a good season with the amount of time that he had on the field. But we understood the mission that Flores had with Miami, and his mission was to see what the hell Tua had. And they started off 3-0 with Tua, and then things started changing. You know, Tua kind of got stagnant in terms of his progression, and things just didn't work out in terms of just being able to consistently produce well. And it's not, he's a rookie, but getting put in that position kind of exposes some things a little bit quicker than you would expect. So now he's in a position where that offense has to perform under Tua, or they'll be looking for another quarterback very soon. Right. With that being said, I'm not entirely too sure Miami's going to be ready to take the next step and compete with Buffalo just after that 1 year where they were playing really good on special teams, defense, and offense. Like, I don't think you can repeat that type of success, that explosion that came out of nowhere. You got to see where it goes. And that's where the Jets can take their chance in terms of overtaking somebody. And then when it comes to the Patriots, I think that's a 50-50 thing. I'm not entirely too sure because with Belichick and defenses, like you mentioned, like we all talked about, that motherfucker has that side of the ball on lock. Regardless of who the hell at quarterback, that's the side that he knows best. He's a defensive guy. So I think the battle comes down between Jets and Miami, and then it's 50-50 toss-up in my opinion, because I don't know just yet, but I think it's a toss-up between the Jets and the Patriots, just trying to figure out who can overtake who in the two matchups. But Buffalo definitely got number one. I think the Jets can fight for third, and if they get really lucky, because the AFC is stacked, man. I'm not gonna say it's playoffs, but I can say like you can look at at best you can look at like an 8-win season with the Jets.
Yep.
Where y'all at with it?
At least I am with DA and Mual. You all made great points about the different teams in the division and where they stand. I think anything better than what they did last year. I mean, 2 wins last year. I mean, they've gotten a lot of the right pieces. They've gotten younger in a lot of key positions on the team. I think this is a team that could definitely go between 6 and 8 wins, depending upon how well the offense plays and defense, and I think a lot of Robert Saleh. So I mean, I think he is a good leader of men, and I think he'll do a good job for that team. So I mean, it's a good things to come for the Jets franchise. I'm just not sure if it happens this year. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if Zach Wilson somehow
is come out there like Herbert.
That's what I was exactly about to say.
Come out there like Herbert.
He turns out to be like Herbert. I mean, this could be definitely a team.
Yeah.
Definitely be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah.
I would say between 6 and 8 wins.
I mean, I was going. I got a more optimistic view for the Jets only because I want everybody in the NFL to be good, so I can watch great football every game I watch. So I'm gonna say their ceiling is second place in their division, and at worst third. Because like everybody said, the Dolphins are a little bit shaky. If Cam is starting for the Patriots and their offense is anything like it was last year, I don't see them being that productive in the NFL. So I think at best second in the division, third. So about 8 wins, second place. I would like to see that for the Jets. You know what I'm saying? That'd be some good ball, man.
Yep.
That's a healthy number. I guess we all on the same page for real. It ain't nothing changed between us.
And I mean, some more is football, man. Any given Sunday, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. And I mean, and also I think what's dope about the NFL is that for the last 15 years, every year from one season to the next, something from last to first, every year, without fail, every year. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the Jets, but every team that's also hired a new coach has improved by at least 5 wins. So again, if you go from 2 to 7, then now next year in 2022 being for a playoff spot at that point, right? And that's what you want to see. You want to see progress. You do not want to see them getting the brakes beat off of them every week. You do not want to see that, because then at that point you're just like, all right, man, like I'm not watching this. I'll watch Ravens games all season if that's the case.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what you want to see. You want to see progress. You want to see them get better.
Hey, am I tripping? Was the Jets getting blown out a lot last year, or were they getting?
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know why I felt like some of the games I was watching, I felt like it was giving me Seattle vibes in regards to like close.
That was late in the year. They was playing
Later
talking
in
about,
the
you talking,
year.
you talking about that
Early
last
on,
game,
like
bro.
those Hall Friday games, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the Jets give me some of those games where you'd be like, oh, okay, I think they're about to blow them out. Then they come out and it's like 8-10 or something.
Yeah. We were getting blown out a lot early in the year, but then the Rams game was close. The Raiders game was close. They picked towards the end of the year, but also, I mean, at that point, like they had locked up no worse than the second pick overall. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think they had much to play for at that point.
Mm-hmm. They was out there running every play.
Every play. Everything.
Hey, so DA, man, are you hitting a couple Jets games up this year?
Yeah. So I'll be in Charlotte for the Panthers game. For the home opener against the Pats, and I'll be in London for when they play the Falcons. So that's good.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
That's your first time going overseas?
No. Out there, joint.
No, so I will say, man, like shout out to the Jets too, man, because I've been with TOJ now for 10 years, and I will say, like, we started out as just a written site, right? Just a written site. We didn't really have access to the team or anything like that, and now we have podcasts. One is on Patreon. We have over 2,000 subscribers, and the Jets have sent. Like I've been able to meet. I was able to meet Chris Ivory at an Xbox Live event when he was here in 2015. They sent I did foster care social work here in DC, and they sent me and like a bunch of the kids that I worked with to the Jets in Washington preseason game. You know, they get tickets for free. So it's been really nice to cultivate that relationship with them. So we're gonna go overseas and do a couple live pods over there. So it's my second time in London. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great.
Hey man, that's nice, bro. That's really dope, bro. And I'm happy for you, big dog. And things that you all got going. I didn't know y'all was around that long. So that's really good, and obviously the consistency paid off. And you got things going for you, especially for the team that you like. That shit works out, bro. For sure. Yep. All right, DA, man, it was definitely good talking to you, bro. Let the people know where they can find you. Obviously you talked about your podcast in the beginning and the things you got going on, but where can they find you on your socials and all that good stuff?
For sure. And first off, thank you guys, man. Like I said, I love connecting with brothers who know the game. Rick, I trust that when you're talking about your route running, I know that's real. I know you're not both.
We recording that one-on-one, so you about to see everything.
I stand on that. And you know what's crazy? Maul don't play football with Maul probably more than anybody, bro. And Maul, but Maul, he just be chilling, bro. You know what I'm saying? He be trying to spare you, right? So you don't really know what's up. But I'm letting you know, bro. Oh, Rob. Matter of fact, Rob, listen. No. Listen, Rob. Our game this weekend is at 11 o'clock. Pull up, bro. Pull up. I'm telling you, pull up, bro. I feel bad for who checking me, bro. That's all I'm saying. I say it every game.
That's all he's saying. Put him on a poster. Pull up.
I'm going to show out.
But again, man, thank you guys for having me on. You can follow me on Twitter at DA_Osorio. You can follow our stuff on Instagram at @TurnOnTheJets_IG. We have a live YouTube show Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. We have the regular TOJ pod. Draft season returns in October, and Badlands drops every Friday. Honestly, let's see what happens this year, because you know what, Rick, you're right. Any given Sunday, anything can happen, right? So I'm excited to root for wins, man. Exactly. I'm excited to root for wins, man. When Adam Gase was here, I was rooting for us to go 0-16. I was like, just blow this whole thing up.
He was a shit show from that introductory pressure, bro.
Yeah. All the bath salts.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I still don't know what the hell was wrong with him, but goddamn, I hope he got his eyes fixed. Put it that way.
Word.
I don't know, man.
No, but thank you guys. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So shoot me a DM of all your socials and stuff like that, so I could give you a follow on that stuff as well. But yeah, appreciate everybody who tuned in. Appreciate everybody who listening. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you are listening on YouTube, or watching on YouTube, if you're listening on iTunes podcast, all that good stuff. Don't 1-star me. I will find you. It's like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. but yeah, back
wherever you put it at, right? It don't matter, bro.
Hey, Rob, if you pull up to the game, bro, you gotta bring your strap, bro. Just in case.
Oh my goodness. Hey,
Get the strap.
hey, DA, we didn't get this. It's a crazy league that we in.
Right.
It's a crazy league that
I
we in.
You
Put
respect
it
got
that
things
way.
on you, bro.
Put it
You
that
got
way.
to.
Yeah, we got a dip, man. But yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday with the Washington football preview and training camp. That's the last show before training camp starts, and we got some real time updates and news and stuff like that. So I'll be back next Tuesday. Again, appreciate everybody for listening, all that good stuff. Be back next week. Peace.